Hi everyone, really nice to be here and thank you firstly to Kocho for inviting me to talk today. My name's Andy Frost, I'm the Head of IT at RPC and I want to talk to you about a success story from our side fundamentally about the mobile lifecycle and the various stages that we've gone through as a law firm to improve and enhance our mobile services across our estate. I know there's a lot of legal people here, but for those of you who aren't from the legal industry, RPC are an international top 40 law firm. We've now got around 1,200 employees across 4 different sites, London, Bristol, Hong Kong and Singapore. We're recognised as a legal leader in industries such as insurance, retail, technology and media. We've been working with Kocho in various different capacities for about 9 years. And when I say Kocho, the previous incumbent as well. But it was really the last kind of 3 to 4 years where we've really looked to kind of push their services even more through the virtual mobile manager. And to be honest, it's been a real game changer for us and it's something that I'm really pleased to talk to you all about today. So let me go back. I'll go back to 3-4 years ago, 2020. We were all in lockdown. All of my fee earners partners had this wonderful device here, which they like to keep in their drawers or hide away from their clients. But the reality is we had 450 connections with O2 directly. We worked directly with O2 at that time. We had a really disjointed MDM environment. So we had an element of Mobile Iron that looked after certain elements. We had Intune that looked after certain things. And parts of our Asia offices didn't even have any real MDM solutions. So it was really disjointed. We couldn't deliver patches out to people. We couldn't deliver updates out to people. There was no consistent approach at all. Our international roaming was also really, really rigid and disjointed. So we used a Savi moda through O2. Through 3 or 4 different various group policies that we'd allocate mobiles into. The problem with that is that our fee earners just would go off on holiday and not tell us, which didn't really help the IT department, which ultimately led to bill shock. I had one particular situation where a fee earner decided to go on holiday to Serbia without telling us. Obviously, Serbia's not in the EU banding at that time. Decided to start streaming Netflix for the entire duration of his holiday off his corporate mobile. That wasn't a particularly nice conversation I had with O2. Fortunately, I was able to negotiate that down, but those are the kind of real life situations that we were living in at RPC at that moment in time. So we were also getting high monthly airtime spend as a result of that for those 450 connections. We didn't really have any trending. Trending was something that is really important to us now. We need to know what our users are doing, where they're going, how much their data consumption is, what apps they're using, so that we can then tailor a proactive approach to make sure that they're able to actually, we can control their spend and, again, not have that bill shock element. So we were looking for some assistance, fundamentally. And with that, I went out to RFP, went out to tender, spoke with a number of customers, different suppliers, and went with Kocho. We had a really good relationship with them. They kind of understood us as a law firm, fundamentally. They really kind of were working with us at that time, but their expertise really took me by surprise, and all the various offerings that they were able to give us meant that they were really the right choice and the right fit for RPC as well. We renegotiated the O2 contract, so we had a 3-stage element towards that. And moving over to that secondary O2 contract, once it was renewed, we looked to consolidate all of our inventory. We needed to make sure that all of the phones that were kind of not being used were cut off, and we really started to kind of minimize and make more efficient that contract to make it work for us. The other element is we upgraded to a single global MDM environment, which was one of the key drivers. And I have to say the team, Andy, Nando, all those guys worked tirelessly to kind of bring that together, to put that single Intune global solution so that we could then start managing our Asia mobiles effectively as well. So that was a real bonus for us. We decided to move away from Asavi. It wasn't working for us. It was too rigid, as I've mentioned previously. We decided to go with the Wandera option on recommendation from Kocho, and we found it was a really, really successful application. Was able to control the spend, monitor the data usage, monitor where people were going, be able to put parameters in to stop people from downloading too much when they didn't need to. It really was a really terrific tool set, and we still continue to use that element today. The other things which I think are really proactive is Rachel and the service desk by using the Kocho InView portal is something that's been a real success for us. My service desk use it on a daily basis. We have monthly service reviews where we go through the portal. And if anybody else has not actually seen the portal, I'd recommend speaking to your account manager and have a look at it, because it really is a fantastic piece of tool set that you can use to manage your mobile estate. The other thing that once we'd completed all that in lockdown, refreshed mobile phones, sent them all out to people, got it all upgraded, put it into Intune, happy days. But it didn't stop there. I asked Matt Atkinson, who sadly can't be here today, once the project had near enough completed, do you mind helping me with my Asia contracts now as well? And Matt quite happily said yes. He didn't have too much experience in that industry at that time. But as a result of the assistance that Kocho provided to me, that brought down our mobile contracts even further, so we had even more savings as a result of that. So it was really fantastic. So where are we today? So our mobile estate has grown. We've gone from 450 mobiles to around about 900 now. But our airtime has actually reduced across the months. So our monthly spend on our bills has gone down quite considerably, which is a massive change. And that's all down to the controls and the VMM service that we've put in place with Kocho. The other element that I want to talk about is the DAISY contract. So this is kind of the stage 3 mechanism, and I know Rachel, I'll invite you onto stage in a moment. But what was really key with this was giving us the flexibility to be able to flex the contract from month to month, as opposed to previously just being hit with an O2 bill that just used to slap on my desk every month without being being very reactive as being proactive. So I don't know, Rachel, if you'd like to just come on stage and explain how that works for us.
Nice to meet you all. So I'm Rachel. I lead on service delivery for the Virtual Mobile Manager, which is a service that we deliver for, there's a few customers that I can see around the room. Just to give you an idea of how the new contract works from a day-to-day perspective and how we monitor and control, as Andy said. So now that we're on a new DAISY O2 contract, we're constantly reviewing the unbilled data usage. So this is all about being proactive, what are we doing in month, as opposed to massive bill at the end of the month. Next month we recommend X, Y, and Z. So it's very much our analysts are looking at this daily, producing weekly reporting. We've got full visibility and control of the device estate. I mean, as Andy said, you can't control when people are going on holiday. In fact, Matt Atkinson, who was going to be speaking, is actually in the Maldives today, so he won't be using his mobile. It's £4 per meg.
Lucky for some.
So yeah, he won't be using his. But you can't control that, but you can educate and you can share knowledge. All the presentations today have been around, there's a lot of pressure on security. There's lots of things that IT teams have to think about. So our team know their data day in, day out, and we can kind of take that off Andy's plate so he doesn't have to worry about it. I'll give you an example of a recent sort of proactivity that we've done. So there was a user in Algeria, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Yep. We picked it up from our unbilled data usage, made RPC aware. They can let the user know so that they can stop that usage, connect to Wi-Fi, and do that sort of thing. But not only that, so on the DAISY contract, we can actually backdate bundles. So we were actually able to alter a O2 bundle, backdate it to the start of the month, and then absorb a lot of that cost. So in that situation, we actually reduced the cost by 63%. So it's an example of the sort of savings that you can make. And as Andy said, mobile estate's growing, airtime costs are coming down, and that's an example. If you can pick out those individuals, actually monitor those bundles and backdate and absorb that cost, then it goes hand in hand that you're going to make those savings. Again, protection against bill shock, that alludes to what I've just discussed. It's about knowing where to go, educating us, working closely with RPC and letting them know what they can do internally and how they can promote things to their users. You briefly mentioned the InView portal, so we can store 4 years of trend data. So I have a pretty good view of which users travel a lot, which users use a lot of international calls. So our team are, as I said, constantly monitoring, and we've got a full trend. So that allows Andy to be able to project future costs from a budgetary point of view, and actually be able to think, again, it's all about being proactive as opposed to reactive. And then I'll briefly mention JAMP, but then I'll kind of pass back. But it's kind of hand in hand, really. So we have the work that we're doing on VMM, but there's also the JAMP side of things. So you can have policy set up so that users that go to certain zones are restricted to a certain amount of data. So again, those two products are working together so that the two teams are intertwined between security and VMM. So it's kind of like an overall umbrella service, I would say. But hopefully that told you a bit more about how it runs day to day.
No, thank you, Rachel. Okay. Thank you. I think the other thing, just to touch upon that as well, is that I see Kocho as an extension of my service desk, fundamentally. What they do for me on a day-to-day basis, it's not a case of just looking at an alert and just waiting for it to pop up. They're actively calling my service desk to say, have you noticed this individual? The Algeria one is a really good example, because we've not really had too many recently. And the gentleman, again, another partner, went away, decided to use GMaps on his mobile, his corporate mobile, whilst he's trekking around Algeria. So again, you can see that data just clocking up. So it's those types of things that really, really make the service, really work for us in particular. The other element that I will just touch upon is the JAMP mobile as well. We've heard a lot from security individuals today, but it's also important that Kocho also provide that mobile threat defense for us as well on our mobiles, and that's something that's worked really well for us as well. So I just wanted to highlight that too. So why go with them? Why? Well, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. But no, why go with them? I mean, they're a trusted partner of ours, RPC. We rely on them. Their expertise in the mobile marketplace for us has been significant, fundamentally. Matt and Rachel and the team have been outstanding working with us. We're now having conversations. Last week I was chatting with Rachel about what we're doing with our third evolution of refreshes now, what we're going to do. So we're really keen to continue that strong relationship. I mentioned about the deadlines and the element around COVID. We had till Christmas to try and deliver that before the O2 contract then had to be renewed. So we had basically a window of about 12 weeks. And they delivered 2 weeks earlier than anticipated. So, the team, when they work together, we collaborate, we really kind of hit those targets. As I mentioned, the exceptional customer service goes without saying. They're a great team to work with. Fantastic collaboration right the way through the accounts management team, all the way through to the technical advisory elements of the team. So, yeah, but the bottom line is it saved us thousands of pounds. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, and I said to myself, shall I just tell people how much I've actually saved over the 4 years? And I thought, it's a bit boring, really, isn't it? It's a bit boring. So I thought, why don't I try and shoehorn in one of my passions in particular, because that's always quite good to do in a presentation. I know it's near lunch, so I know it's a little bit of fun as well. So I'm a massive Nottingham Forest fan. Football is my passion, particularly my team. And I thought, I'm going to ask you guys a question. If you know football, can you tell me who that footballer is, please? Thank you very much. That man, shame by that man of beer. Yes, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Ex-Chelsea, now Nottingham Forest, signed this season injured, which is a pity because we could do with him against Villa. But just to highlight and just to bring this back again, over the last 4 years that I've been using the VMM service, we've saved 27% of that man's transfer fee. So I'll let you guys work that out over lunch. Or you can buy me a beer and I'll tell you. So on that note, I will leave it. It's been great to be able to present. Thank you again. I'm now going to hand over to Richard, who's going to talk to a little bit about the work that Kocho have been doing in South Africa. RPC have been, we're really passionate about trying to reduce our carbon footprint fundamentally. And it's through these sort of programs that we can, we really can make a difference. So Richard, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you. Hello everybody, Richard Slade. I work in the Managed Mobile Services team. I'm conscious I'm the only person here that's holding 150 back from their lunch at the moment, so I'll try and make this brief. But I've been asked to speak just for a few minutes around, within the mobile lifecycle that Andy's been talking through, how we embrace sustainability within that. I know Leslie's already mentioned that word, probably the first time today, but it's something that's very important to us at Kocho. So the first area is reduce. It sounds pretty obvious, but if you don't need something, then why would you buy it? Do you know actually how your end users use their devices? And obviously, with many of you being Kocho customers, some of you will be in a privileged position of knowing in intrinsic detail as a result of our work how that is. But for those that don't, you may be surprised that having analysed hundreds of thousands of connections across hundreds of corporate customers, and still wondering why I'm not being invited out to parties, we see norms appearing, and 15% typically of your connections are never used. And staggeringly, sort of 30 to 40% are very rarely used. And so the easiest saving is 100% saving, the best saving, of course. So if your users don't need devices, then potentially consider whether they need them in the first place, or consider a blend of technologies that you can use in alternative to device. Second area to touch on is reuse and refurbish. Just to throw a couple of stats at you, 20% of consumer electronics are, only 20% of consumer electronics are recycled. And when you balance that with Accenture recently coming out and saying that overall device investment costs for large corporations could be reduced by up to 40% simply by adopting some circular economy principles in their device lifecycle management, then the opportunities really start to become clear of how sustainability can be a driver of your device lifecycle strategy. The best way to regain value from devices is to extend its life cycle. So at Kocho, we offer device repair, refurbishment and replacement services as part of our mobile device lifecycle management. Secure recycling, well, you'll know that sustainability and security are central to us at Kocho. And within the secure recycling piece, the best value you can get from secure recycling is recycling it as soon as possible. There's a higher residual value to be gained if you are passing it into the circular economy and obviously releasing that cash for whatever purpose your organisation may use, whether it be solar community hubs or your own initiatives. But also, reduce risk, minimise risk of data leakage from having devices sat around on the shelf for much longer than they need to be. So we offer a free recycling service for devices that are being donated to our Solar Community Labs project. So again, if of interest, grab us at lunch. That's figuratively speaking. Sustainable packaging and accessories. So sustainability for us within the mobile sphere is about devices, but of course it's also about the detail and bringing that process together. So from the packaging that we use to ship out devices, smartphones to our end users, through to offering biodegradable phone cases, through to when we're getting a batch of 1,000 mobiles back to recycle on your behalf, all of those black cases that you kindly send back with them, we also have a specialist partner to recycle all of those because they don't just get dropped in your typical recycling. So we're also able to look at the details within this sphere as well. Carbon neutral. So you may know, average iPhone is 80 kilograms, produces 80 kilograms of carbon, CO2e, during its manufacture and lifetime emissions. So we set up a relationship with Eden Reforestation. So we plant 5 mangrove trees in Madagascar for every device that we sell. Every single device, we do that automatically. 30,000 saplings have now gone into the ground, which is great, ticking the box for Scope 3 carbon emissions for you guys. But more importantly, I think the communities that are actually involved in this landscape restoration are being massively positively affected by having meaningful work and fair wages as a result of this activity. Finally, and one that's very close to my heart, very excited about, is delivering social impact, which Andy linked to. So we've partnered with Computer Aid International. Some of you may know. We are helping to build containerized, essentially using containerized shipping units, which are kitted out and placed into impoverished communities across South Africa. We are providing education through Computer Aid International, education, training, and learning opportunities for some of the most impoverished communities in sub-Saharan Africa. And delighted, a number of you in this room know about this project. We've got 12 customers, I believe, supporting this project actively, so thank you so much for that. And we've now raised over £110,000 towards this. And this is purely from stuff that's sitting in cupboards that that may not have any value to you, but to the project. And when we securely recycle them, it has a tremendous value to others around the world. So if that's of interest, obviously, come and grab one of the team, Rachel, myself, and we're happy to talk to you about that. I'd just like to finish on a video, which is Keith Sonnet, Chief Executive of Computer Aid International, and Matt Atkinson, who is, as you've heard, sunning himself in the Maldives, which is why I'm here. And just words of thank you, and also launching the labs at the end of this month. So here's an update.
Hello everyone. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to you, our customers, for supporting our Solar Power Community Hubs programme. Thanks to your support and device donations, we have achieved something truly remarkable. Together we have raised over £100,000. Due to be deployed very soon, the Thistulani Community Hub has been fully funded by your generosity and will make a life-changing impact on the community very much in need. Your contributions have enabled us to bring solar power technology, education and other opportunities to very disadvantaged people. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for believing in our vision of a world where everyone had equal access to digital technologies. Thank you very much.
When we first started a programme with Computer Aid and Dell Technologies just 18 months ago to help build solar power community hubs in South Africa, we thought we'd make a bit of a difference. With your help and the help of other Kocho customers, we've already smashed through the first £100,000 target, and we're well on our way to a longer-term target, building 5 community hubs in the next 3 years. So from the entire team at Kocho, thank you to your business for helping and contributing so far, and we hope that you stay with us on the journey over the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you.